Once upon a time in a faraway kingdom, there lived a beautiful princess. She was kind and caring and loved by everyone in the kingdom, but she was also very lonely. You see, the princess had no one to talk to, because no one in the kingdom could understand what she was saying. And that's because the princess was a frog. Yes, a frog princess. Now you might be wondering how a princess could be a frog. Many years ago, before the princess was born, her mother, the queen, went to the enchanted forest to collect some magical herbs. The herbs were for a special potion that would help people in the kingdom live longer and be healthier. But the queen accidentally stepped on a magic toadstool, and suddenly she turned into a frog. The silly little frog hopped away, and the queen hopped after her, trying to catch up and turn back into a human before giving birth. But it was too late. When the baby princess was born, she too was a frog. So the king and the court sorcerer came up with a plan. They built a tower for the little frog princess to live in all by herself. And they put a magic spell on the tower, so that when a prince kissed her, she would turn back into a human. Then the king and the court sorcerer waited patiently for a prince to come and rescue the princess from the tower. But hundreds of years went by and no one came. And the princess grew up all alone in the tower, talking to her frog friends and dreaming of a life outside the tower. One day, a young man named Ethan was walking through the forest. He was a simple farm boy who lived with his mother in a small village. Ethan was a kind and gentle soul who loved animals and nature. Suddenly, he heard a beautiful singing coming from the trees. He followed the sound and soon came across the tower where the princess lived. At the top of the tower, on a ledge made of pure gold, sat the most beautiful girl Ethan had ever seen. Her skin was as white as snow, her hair as black as night, and her eyes sparkled like stars in the sky. But as Ethan got closer, he noticed that the girl had webbed feet and a long, sticky tongue. Startled, he took a step back, and when he saw a frog hop onto the ledge beside the girl. The frog looked up at him and said, "Don't be afraid. I am a princess under a spell. Okay? If you can solve the riddle I ask you, I will tell you how to break the spell." Ethan, being a kind and gentle soul, couldn't bear to see the princess so sad. So he sat down beside her and asked her to tell him her riddle. "I have cities, but no houses. I have mountains, but no trees. I have water, but no fish. What am I?" The princess thought for a moment. This is a very difficult riddle. Let me see." Then she turned to Ethan and said, "I believe the answer to my riddle is a map." Ethan's eyes lit up. "That's right," the princess exclaimed. "You are a true hero, Ethan. And now I can finally tell you how to break the spell. All you have to do is kiss me." Just then, a big fat frog hopped onto the ledge, blocking Ethan's view of the princess. No, 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 croaked the frog. You don't get to kiss her. I was the first to lay my lips upon her, so I'm the one who should be rewarded with a kiss. Oh, shut up, you stupid frog, the princess shouted. And with that, she turned into a beautiful human princess and gave Ethan a peck on the cheek. Then she turned back into a frog and laid an egg on the ground. The princess explained that the egg contained her true form and that Ethan must take it to the Enchanted forest and place it on the magic toadstool to break the final part of the spell. So off went Ethan with the egg, and he soon arrived at the edge of the enchanted forest. There, on a large, flat rock, sat the magic toadstool. As he approached the toadstool, a tiny green frog hopped out. "Please don't eat me," begged the little frog. "I won't eat you, little frog. In fact, I have something much better for you," Ethan said with a smile. And with that, he placed the egg on the toadstool. The egg hatched and out popped the princess, now in her true form. She was more beautiful than Ethan could have ever imagined. She had skin as white as snow, hair as black as night, and eyes that twinkled like stars. And then she turned to Ethan and said, "Thank you for rescuing me, kind sir. How can I ever repay you?" "Well, perhaps you could marry my mother," said Ethan. "Sade's been looking for a husband for many years." The princess laughed and said, "Of course, I would love to." And that's exactly what they did. They married and lived happily ever after. The end.